We're taking you live inside the U.S. Capitol 1 year to the day of a deadly insurrection. The images much different from what we saw in 2021. A prayer service going on there right now. Let's listen in.
Its power and its defense of the common good. On these virtues was our country founded, and for them countless heroes have sacrificed. Remind us, inspire us, the aggrieved, the skeptical, the disenfranchised, all of us, to hold true and remain worthy of this noble heritage. We offer the words of Abraham Lincoln, that once again we would emerge from our national turmoil with malice toward none and charity for all, with firmness in the right as you give us to see the right, to finish the work we are in, to bind up the nation's wounds, to do all which may achieve.
And that is the prayer service going on right now inside the U.S. Capitol. You may remember thousands of people, egged on by former President Trump, stormed the Capitol. That was a year ago, temporarily interrupting Congress from certifying the 2020 presidential election. At least a dozen Georgians are among the hundreds of people who have been arrested for their role in that event. 7 people were killed amid all of the chaos. CBS's Natalie Brand live in Washington right now for us. President Biden and Vice President Harris addressing the nation this morning, pledging to move the country forward after one of its darkest days. Natalie, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Karen. And it is an incredibly somber day on Capitol Hill today as lawmakers and the president, vice president, staffers here, people who work here reflect on that day. The president in his speech noted the Capitol Hill police officers who lost their lives following the attack, and then the many others who were injured emotionally and physically, noting the pain and scars from that day run deep.
I'm praying that we'll never have another day like we had a year ago today.
President Biden visited the U.S. Capitol 1 year after a mob stormed the same building in an attempt to prevent the certification of the 2020 presidential election results.
Those who stormed this Capitol, and those who instigated and incited, and those who called on them to do so, held a dagger at the throat of America, at American democracy.
The president, calling out his predecessor, says the nation is at a turning point.
We must decide, what kind of nation are we going to be? Are we going to be a nation that accepts political violence as a norm?
Despite the attack, Congress returned to complete its duty formalizing the election results, but divisions over the outcome of the election remain.
It's going to take a long time for us to overcome. And look, we can either, embrace the truth of what happened with the election and what happened on January 6th, or we could be destroyed by lies.
Republican Governor Larry Hogan, who deployed the Maryland State Police and National Guard to help protect the Capitol, says Americans need to come together.
We're more divided than ever, and both parties, the extremes of both parties are tearing the country apart.
A CBS News poll out this week shows 68% of Americans say the January 6th attack was a sign of increasing political violence. 32% say it was an isolated event. Back here live, the new police chief of the Capitol Hill Police Force says the threat level here is much higher than it previously was, saying that the department needs help in dealing with the surge. Meanwhile, accountability remains a key issue for the Justice Department, with over 700 defendants charged from nearly all states. And Democratic lawmakers have also stressed the importance of voting rights, with the president and vice president scheduled to travel to Atlanta next week to talk about that issue. Karen.
All right, Natalie Brand in Washington, thank you so much.